The year is 1788, and somewhere in the fog-soaked forests of what is now Romania, an army of over 100,000 men is tearing itself apart. No enemy has yet arrived. No foreign blade has drawn blood. The only weapons at work are confusion, schnapps, and the primal fear of men who cannot see what is killing them. This is the Battle of Karansebes, history's most extraordinary act of self-destruction, and it holds lessons not just in military history, but in the raw, unforgiving art of survival fieldcraft that kept soldiers alive when everything else conspired to kill them. Welcome to Fieldcraft Chronicles. Today, we extract the forgotten survival wisdom of the First World War soldier, wisdom forged in conditions that would break most modern men before breakfast. The trench, a living, breathing survival system. Step into the Western Front, and your first sensation is not sight, but smell. The thick, iron-sweet stench of waterlogged earth, unwashed bodies, and rotting timber hits you before you can see a single sandbag. The trench was not just a defensive structure. It was a hand-carved civilization where fieldcraft separated the men who endured from those who didn't. The classic fire step allowed observation while keeping the body below the parapet. The floor, a battlefield of pooling rainwater and clay, was managed with duckboards, rough wooden platforms that kept feet elevated above the creeping cold responsible for trench foot. Men who let their boots stay wet for more than 48 hours lost toes, sometimes more. Shelter in the wound, the dugout as bushcraft masterclass. Where the trench gave a man a path, the dugout gave him a home. Carved into the rear trench wall and reinforced with corrugated iron, ammunition crates, and salvaged timber, these improvised shelters were masterpieces of wartime ingenuity. Straw from ruined barns was packed against earthen walls for insulation. Greatcoats were never hung. They were slept under, sat on, used as windbreaks. Rain was directed away from entrances, with clever drainage channels dug each dawn, before the day's shelling could flatten the work overnight. Survival here was entirely architectural. Fire, food, and the scarcity economy of the front line. The Karansebes disaster began with alcohol. Cavalry scouts who found schnapps and, refused to share it with approaching infantry. That drunken argument spiraled into phantom shouts of Turks that sent an entire army into a killing panic against itself. The lesson is one every fieldcraft practitioner understands. Resource management under scarcity is a survival skill, and when it fails, everything fails. World War I soldiers fashioned crude Tommy cookers, small tins punched with air holes and fueled by wax-soaked cotton, producing just enough heat to warm tea without a visible flame signature. Water collected in shell craters arrived brown with cordite and, honestly, worse. The solution was improvised filtration-folded cloth over the canteen mouth, charcoal scraped from burnt timber used as a primitive purifying layer. Not clinically safe, mind you, but it kept men alive when the ration cart didn't come. Camouflage, hygiene, and the will to carry on. Exposed metal was darkened with soot before any patrol. Helmets were wrapped in burlap and stuffed with local grasses to break the hard silhouette a sniper identifies at 300 meters. Movement was governed by sensory discipline, so refined it bordered on instinct, because silence itself had texture out there, and the men who read it correctly were the ones who came home. The morning shave, performed with cold water and a blade kept sharp on a leather bootstrap, was not vanity. It was sanity. In chaos, routine is an anchor, and the soldiers who maintained it, who kept their kit clean, their morale intact, their humanity visible, were the ones who endured longest. The echo that still teaches. What Karansebes ultimately teaches us is that survival is a collective discipline as much as an individual one. That army had capable soldiers. What it lacked was shared trust and shared calm under pressure, the exact qualities forged daily in the trenches of the Great War. In every filtered canteen and soot-blackened buckle, there is a transferable lesson for the modern practitioner. These men adapted with whatever was available. That is what this channel is about. The transfer of hard-won, blood-tested knowledge across a century of time. Subscribe to Fieldcraft Chronicles and share this video with every history lover, bushcraft practitioner, and quiet prepper in your life. The trenches taught the world more about human resilience than any classroom ever could. We're here to make sure none of it gets forgotten. Stay sharp, stay prepared. This is Fieldcraft Chronicles,